Hi guys, welcome back to Astrophotography Quest. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you a tutorial of Deep Sky Stacker and how to use it. Alright, without further ado, let's get started. Let's go open Deep Sky Stacker, and you probably already know the importance of stacking is to get rid of that noise and bring out more detail and allow you to stretch it more. So first of all, I imported all my images already, and in order to import images, you click Open Picture Files, and that's all your light frames. To open dark files or your noise files to get rid of noise, you just click the dark files button, and then flat files, offset bios files, so forth. So now what we're going to do is, you see none of the images are selected, but they're all good. So we're going to click Check All. So we select all, and we want to stack all of them. You can manually deselect images like that. Now what we're going to do is, the first thing I usually do is I'll set a reference frame. The reference frame is basically how you want to frame it up. So based on a certain frame. So we want to frame it up in the middle, right? This little nebula you can barely see right here. We want to frame it up in the middle. In order to frame it up in the middle, we'll select the very first frame where it was first framed, and we'll click Use as right-click it and click Use as reference frame. Now that will be stacked based on this picture, and everything will be stacked on top of this specific picture. Okay, so now that is the reference frame. But first of all, we're going to go to the settings real quick. We're going to go to the raw fits DDP settings, and make sure if you're using fits files that are monochrome files, make sure this is dechecked. If it's you're using a color DSLR, make sure this is checked right here. What we're going to do now is we're going to register check pictures. What registering does is basically checks all the pictures to see if they're good and aligned and the stars are good, and it also makes sure to see if the same stars in the field of view. So the star detection threshold, most of the time won't be turned down, especially for those dim images. You want to be able to detect as many stars as possible. Around 150 stars is about what I do. That's too much stars, so too many stars. You want to have it like register around 150 stars if you can. That way it still goes quick enough, but it's not like that. I guess that's good right there. Maybe a little bit more. That's good right there. And this button right here, reduce the noise by using a median filter. Basically, will reduce the noise if you're doing that sequence, but I'm not going to. In stacking parameters, we have drizzle, which basically doubles the size of the image, but it's only really useful in certain situations, like if your target's really small. But I don't usually use drizzle. And I use kappa sigma clipping method, which is basically the method it uses to stack and align the images. And then number of iterations 5, that doesn't really matter. And I am going to just use what I got for now. And that's basically it. That's as simple as that. And I'm going to register already registered pictures. Actually, I don't need to. That's only if you want to re-register pictures that's already been registered. Basically, it's just for images that you want to recheck. I'm going to leave the uncheck as a no, they're all good. And we're going to, now this is important, select the best blank pictures and stack them. Basically, if not all of your images are good, but some of them are good, or most of them are good or something, then you want to select the percentages. Let's say most of your images are good, you would select like 80% of the pictures, for example. Now we're going to click OK. And I think the stacking, yep, there's a stacking. We got 2 hours and 53 minutes of data, which is not that bad. And that's pretty much it. And I think we already looked over the stacking parameters, so we can just click OK, and it will go through the registering process. And then, as you see, fits files for some reason are a lot quicker than raw files, so it might be going quick for you depending on what you're using. But if you're using a DSLR and using raw files, for some reason it's going to be a lot slower than fits files, registering and stacking. Okay, when this is done, I'll be right back. All right, guys, it is officially done stacking. Now, in order to save the stack, what we're going to do is we're going to click, there's a save picture to file, and we're not going to do any processing in Deep Sky Stacker. And we're going to save it in the folder M17 because this is what it is, and we're going to save it as final 2. I know I have weird image names. So now that we got it saved, that's basically all you need to do for Deep Sky Stacker. If you want to stay for a minute, I could show you some cool Photoshop tricks after Deep Sky Stacker. We can open up our image. Okay, so now we can open up our folder. And there we go. Here is our image. Now what we're going to do is I am going to start stretching. So it is already pretty stretched a little bit, but I'm going to start stretching a little bit more. In order to stretch a little bit more, hold on, I'll be right back. All right, guys, I am back. Okay, as you can see, we have stretched our image a little bit. Now, in order to do this is a monochrome image, so I want to do it with something called a contrast curve. It's basically the same thing, so we can just do this, but not as much contrast, and then we can bring this up like this because that is how it works. And we can also stretch it maybe a little bit more, I'd say. And turn down levels here. And as you can see now, we got this good looking image. And I wouldn't go too far, maybe one more stretch, but I wouldn't go too far with these images. I think that's good. As you can see, Deep Sky Stacker left some residue down there. Some residue. I don't know what I was trying to say there. So now we'll frame it up a little bit better, like this. And there we go. Now, in order to actually make this image look a tiny bit better, what we're going to do is we're going to say filter, camera raw filter. This adds some extra punch to the image. I can maybe turn down the black point a little bit just so we have a darker sky. And then I can turn up texture just a slight bit. Turn up clarity. Get a boost of clarity there. And no dehazing. I don't like dehaze anymore. And the whites I might turn up slightly. And the shadows we can turn down. Contrast, we don't really need contrast, we'll turn up slightly. All right, and that's basically it. So we went from this to this. That looks awesome. So as you can see with stacking, there is much less noise in the background. Whereas if I were to stack one image, which I don't think it can open a fits image in Photoshop, it wouldn't look as good. It'd be really noisy. So there we go. So that is basically a stack images in Deep Sky Stacker, and you got an extra tip from me. If you like this video, please leave a thumb up. And if you like my content, please subscribe. Anyways, until next time, clear skies. Goodbye.